love affair.
I wish we both would have tried harder.
You don't deserve one tear of mine.
She saw the both of you at the Abbey together.
You don't know what's going on between us.
I don't regret our relationship.
I had so much rage in me.
You will learn how to deal with your problems.
You want anything?
For you to die.
Hello, you are listening to The Gist, and I'm your host, Chris Vetrano, here every week to break down all the things that are happening in pop culture. But today's show, we had to just go ahead and dedicate an entire episode to the Scandoval, because I know you might be tired of hearing about it or talking about it, but if you're like me, you're tired of hearing about it, you're tired of talking about it, but you're also you find yourself, you can't stop talking about it. You can't stop hearing about it because it's everywhere. It has hit the mainstream. Your friends, your family, people that you don't even know are talking about Tom and Ariana and this girl named Raquel, but that people call Rachel. There's so much going on. And today, for today's show, the reason that we're dedicating this episode to the Scandoval of it all is because the cast is reuniting for their reunion. And this is big news. And I'm sure that by the time you listen to this episode, there's already going to be so much that has been uncovered from what happened today. But to set us up and to lead us into today's reunion and to put out the energy into the world, I am going to bring you the 10 things that I hope happen at today's Vanderpump Rules reunion. And then after that, I've got to share just my thoughts on that mid-season trailer. You guys, I know you've seen it. I know you've now heard it, or at least heard part of it. So much has happened in that minute and 20 seconds. I don't know how many times I've watched it. It's probably embarrassing, but better than anything I've seen on TV, better than anything I've seen in movies. It's better than any movie trailer. This had it all. So we're going to break that down. But first, let's get into the 10 things that I hope happen at today's Vanderpump Rules reunion. The first thing on my list is that I had originally wanted Raquel to show up in person and that she would be forced to face the people that she hurt. So we do now know, we have confirmation that Raquel and Sheena are both in the building. So despite the restraining order in place, Bravo producers have maintained that they will keep them the 100 yards apart or whatever, 100 feet apart. I don't remember, but they're going to maintain that in the filming. So we still don't know yet what that means. But yes, the first thing is Raquel shows up. She's planning to do that. So we're already off to a good start. But the main thing that I really want to focus on that is that, I feel like Raquel's showing up to apologize to Ariana. And I think that what I really hope happens is that she's accountable to apologize to everyone that she hurt. Schwartz was a pawn in all of this. Katie was a total victim of all of this. Of course, Ariana plays a huge part and she owes a lot to Ariana. There's a lot that she needs to probably say to her and that we need to hear from her say to Ariana. But I mean, even Charlie and Sheena and these people that rallied around her, that she ultimately just sort of slapped in the face with this information. I really want her to own and be forced to face these people and them to hold her accountable to what she has done. So that's number one. Number two, Sheena and Raquel, I want them to come face to face despite the restraining order. So as I said, they're both going to be in the building and Bravo producers are figuring this out. I'm hoping that they are literally sitting in a wide angle shot. We've got a split screen on TV. They both have to have some kind of, foghorn or something that's going to help amplify their voices, and that they hash out whatever happened on the streets of New York, because we need answers. And I want them both to be basically I want the restraining order court hearing to just happen live on TV. That's what we're aiming at. We just need to get the answers of what happened. So that's number 2. The third thing is I want Schwartz to apologize to Katie for putting her through this facade throughout the season. We know that Schwartz doesn't, because Raquel has actually spoken to TMZ. Imagine that, right? Little Miss, oh, I need my privacy. She's out talking to TMZ she was spilling some tea if you hadn't seen that. But yeah, you can find it online. She did a whole interview with TMZ and did actually share quite a bit of information. I'm sure Bravo was very unhappy with that given the reunion today. But she did sort of confirm that Schwartz didn't know. Kristen Doty has confirmed on her podcast that Schwartz knew as early as last year, at the end of the year, that this was going on. So either way, the fact that he put Katie through this and all of the things that sort of happen, I really want him to own his role in this against his ex-wife and show some empathy and remorse, because Schwartz is not an innocent party in this puzzle. And so I really want to make sure that he doesn't get off and that we don't just focus only on Raquel and Tom as the people that need to make amends. The fourth thing that I want to happen at this reunion, I don't want to talk hardly at all about the season. I am so sorry to Sheena, who is going to want to talk about her wedding and the most magical day of her life, and probably the song that she's written about Brock. And, I'm sure that all these people want to talk about their storylines from this year's season. But we don't care about any of that. I'm sorry, James, we don't even need your girlfriend there. I don't need to know what's happening with you and her. I don't care about that storyline. I want as many hours as possible to talk about the Scandoval and everything that goes into it. And also, I don't want us to wait until part 3 of the reunion for Bravo to start giving us this. I don't want any footage left on the cutting room floor about the Scandoval. And I also don't want to have to wait to get to it. So Andy, I hope you're listening and I hope you're taking some notes, because you need to just dive right in. We don't have time to discuss what happened in the season leading up to the Scandoval. I want everything post Scandoval. Number 5, I want Sandoval ugly crying throughout the entire thing. I just think, he probably won't have his dog to hold to wipe away his tears, but I just want him ugly crying. I want the memory that we have of this person as the season comes to a close to be in his ugliest form. So that's what I'm hoping for number 5. Number 6, I actually want Kristen Doty back. So I don't know if I want her back full time, but I want her on the reunion. She has a lot of information. She was there the night Ariana discovered all of this. She's been a big player in, sharing kind of what everyone's feeling, what's been going on behind the scenes. And we know that she's been filming as well as part of this, as cameras picked back up. So we know that she has played a part. But what will really just put the icing on the cake is the hatred that Lisa Vanderpump has for Kristen. It would just make me feel so warm to see Lisa have to sit through her return to the show and them to be in the same room again. And, Kristen has the goods right now and Lisa needs her. So I think that would be fun to see Lisa Vanderpump eat some crow and have Kristen back. So that's number 6. Number 7, I want Lala and James to announce that they're dating. Okay, so I know I said I don't want any of the other storylines. I want it all to be Scandoval, but I want that all of this information that has come out about Tom and Ariana and Raquel, I want it to somehow unite Lala and James in a way that they show up hand in hand and break the news that they're back together, because those two belong together and they deserve each other. And so that's something I would like to see. Number 8, I want Katie who has been mostly responding to this Scandoval with lighting people on fire. If you saw in the mid-season trailer, she also threatens to light somebody on fire. She's been in several interviews, said that she will light, Raquel on fire. She's going to light Tom Sandoval on fire. She's going to, Andy had asked her on Watch What Happens Live if Tom Schwartz knew about this, how she would respond. And she said she would light him on fire. So you know what I want at the reunion? Katie, girl, bring your matches. Let's get this fire started. Okay. And then number 9, I would love to just find out that Schwartz and Sandy's is closing. I would love for that to just be sort of the pin in Tom Sandoval's downfall, is that we find out his business has not made it past really opening, and they're just going to go ahead and close the joint. It's in a strip mall anyways, and so it's probably likely headed in that direction, but I think it would be great to do that on air. And then also on air, my number 10. This is how I want the final moments of the reunion to go. I just want Andy to live on air fire Raquel. That's it. So those are my top 10 things. I can't believe, I'm literally unable to think about anything else today because I know that these people are in the same room and I just want to be a fly on the wall. So I had to share my top 10 things that I hope are happening. And let's see, maybe some of them will come true. Can you imagine Andy firing somebody live on air? The first time he kind of did that was when Adrienne Maloof didn't show up to the reunion. That was the first time a housewife didn't show up. And he announced live on air, like, she didn't show up, so she's no longer a housewife. That was kind of her first, that was like the first live on air firing. But God, I would love to see that happen to Raquel because she's such a fan of this show, and that's why she's hanging on to dear life to every man on it to keep a storyline. And so it would just be amazing to see that sort of come to an end for her. So those are the top 10 things that I hope happen at the Vanderpump Rules reunion. And like I said, we're dedicating the show to Vanderpump Rules today. So I've got to talk about that mid-season trailer. I mean, you heard a bit of it as we entered this episode today, which was the most riveting part, right? Because, and you guys can only hear so much. There was so many shots. Seriously, I don't know who they hired to put this clip together, but that person needs a raise, a promotion, an Emmy, an Oscar. I'll give them an EGOT right now because they delivered something that I literally want to continue to watch. I'm going to end this episode and watch it again because it's so good. It's like, I get chills when I watch it. It's amazing. Of course, the big pinnacle of the whole thing is how it ends with Ariana, Tom Sandoval in their meeting, which we knew happened the day after cameras went back up. The two of them filmed together in their house. And we see Tom Sandoval ask, "Do you want anything?" And Ariana says, "For you to die." Oh, amazing. We saw Sheena and the bucket hat. So as we saw all of the girls coming to Ariana's side and coming together, we didn't know whether or not they were filming this moment. We thought that they were all just showing up in support of Ariana. We learn that they were in fact filming this moment because Sheena was seen wearing this bucket hat and this outfit as she was bringing her, bottle of wine or whatever liquor they were going to drink. And she's talking about all of her rage, which we can only imagine is when she's telling us about what happened on the streets of New York with Raquel. And if only the cameras, it's like, we get so much TMZ footage and so many boots on the grounds photos. It's like, where were people when that was happening? We need that footage. Are there like cameras in the streetlights and stuff? Like we need to find this footage of what happened. I need it. But we got to see that. Then we saw, and the other thing that was like pretty explosive was we saw Sandoval kissing someone in bed. And those little editors, they are sneaky. They blurred out the face. So they're really trying to get us to think that this is potentially Raquel in the bed that Tom is kissing. We do know that Tom and Raquel filmed a scene together, but we also know that Tom didn't like the outcome or the way that he looked in the scene and wanted producers to recut the scene. We also know that after that, Raquel didn't film anymore. So I can't imagine that they actually have a scene where Tom has a shirt off and is kissing Raquel, because in the midst of the Scandoval, I mean, these are horrible people, but I can't imagine that that's what they chose to do for the cameras in that moment. But, and I think the other thing is that, you know, because I love all the boots on the ground who just, I mean, I feel like Bravo fans are like even better than Swifties. It's like everyone's always decoding everything Taylor Swift does. But with Bravo, it's like you put a question out there and you get like 10 answers back of like, you get everything back. So, you know, people said, who is Tom kissing? And, you know, all of our little Bravo detectives went to work and discovered that it looked as though the room that they were in and the bed that the girl was laying in was from one of the rooms at the hotel that Sheena got married. So we can only assume that this is from Sheena's wedding. And of course, if that's the case, then it would be Ariana, because again, producers, no one knew that they were filming during this time, or nobody knew that they were having an affair during this filming. And so we have to assume that. We also see like a scene with Raquel and Ariana talking at the bar. I have to imagine that this is filmed before Ariana knew, because I don't think that the two of them ever actually got together. And I know that now because, again, Raquel, when she hired the paparazzi today to come film her for TMZ, she mentioned that she reached out to Ariana, got a text back from her that was very unfriendly, and that they have not spoken. So we actually, now we do know that that wasn't from that. So that was a pre-scandal moment that was in the shot, but it sent chills still, because it was like seeing the two of them together was just almost too much. And then we've got Raquel and Sheena. I mean, this is literally, guys, I had this thought where I was like, this is better than anything Aaron Spelling could have produced for 90210 or Melrose Place, or any of his like incredible dramas. By the way, 90210 was one of my favorite shows of all time. So I'm saying that as a true fan, that like, this is crazy storyline. You have a scene where Sheena is talking to Raquel and saying, you know, I used to be the home wrecking whore, and now it's you. And this is before she even knew the extent to which Raquel was a homewrecker. And it's wild, like Raquel's reaction to it is like, she's like, ha ha ha, like, but you know that this bitch has all this information under the scene, like under her skin, just bubbling. It's wild. It's actually like sociopathic. Like she's something else. I can't with her. So, but that scene was incredible. You know, it opens with a clip of Sheena's wedding, and, you know, like I said, Sheena is going to be so disappointed that hopefully the happiest moment and day of her life is just such a blip in this. No one's gonna want to talk about that. So, but it's nice. It's nice that we have it. We know that we're going to see it play out. And then also the other thing was, in the scene where Tom and Ariana are filming in the house, did we notice that Sandoval has a black eye? I haven't heard of anything that had happened to him, so I'm very curious of how that came to be. But he had a black eye, and that was pretty wild to see, because I haven't seen anything really out about him being, you know, assaulted or anything. So that'll be interesting to see come to life. And, you know, him saying that they were only having sex 4 times a year to Ariana, and Ariana saying like, I can't have sex with a stranger. I hope that that's not Sandoval's position as he goes into the reunion today, because no, I'm sorry. you don't just cheat when you're having sex 4 times a year. If you're having 4 times a year sex and you need more of it, like, you address it with your partner, you make it happen, or you end things, because guess what? They're not married. So they could end things at any point. What you don't do is you don't find the dumbest girl in the cast to start banging behind the scenes. So I hope that that's not the direction that he's taking this, because that ain't going to play. So no. But yeah, he had a black eye. And then also the scene just, I mean, I don't know if I can really explain it without like people seeing it, because it was a silent scene. It was just like they were doing these like quick fire takes, but they just have this scene of Ariana screaming, and it's like everyone that has rallied around her and has felt the rage against Tom and Raquel during all of this. It was like she was personifying that in such a huge way in that scream. And it also looks like she's screaming Raquel, which, oh yeah, again, chills. I just got chills. It's wild. It's wild. And then 2 other like kind of things that play out. Again, I want everything just about the Scandoval. I almost feel like we don't need any other cast members at this point. It's like, if you're not talking about the Scandoval, like, get off my screens. But we see at one point Katie has like a guy on her arm, and I don't know if this is like a scene where they're going to show like Katie getting her groove back, but that guy was not it. Okay, I need Katie to like actually like come out with like a hunk. This guy was like a dork, and he's like hanging on her arm. I don't know. The whole thing was very strange. I'm really hoping, and I mean, it made the trailer, so I feel like there's some substance about what this person was. I'm really hoping that that's not someone she went on a date with, because I need her to know that she can do so much better than that. And then the James and Lala fallout, we see that, you know, basically him saying that he wants to propose to his girlfriend, what's her name, Allie. I really could care less about James and Allie, and that's so beyond. And that's even without the Scandoval, I wouldn't care about that, because like I said, I need James and Lala to just be together. And I feel like Lala's would be open to that. I feel like she's like kind of positioned herself to be accepting of that. And so again, I'm hoping, and you know, I think that's why she's like, I can't deal with, you know, you talking about getting married to this girl. Like, you barely know her. You guys just have started dating. No, like, we can't do that. But I feel like there's also like feelings. And so I'm hoping that's where that heads. But like I said, my dream for today's reunion would be that they announce that they're back together and that they actually like become a couple, because I think that they could go the distance. But yeah, the mid-season trailer, like I said, whoever sliced that together, give them the EGOT now, because it was incredible television. It was incredible content that will go down in history as one of the best things that I have seen and watched. And it sent chills down my spine. So that is the mid-season trailer. Like I said, the reunion is happening right now as you're probably listening to this, because, assuming you're listening to it on the day that it came out. But if not, then it's already happened, and you probably already know if any of my top 10 things actually happened. But yeah, it's happening, guys. They're together. Everyone is there. They're all going to have to hash out this entire craziness all together in one room. And I love it. I did hear a rumor, and I don't know if this is true, that there will also be a sit down between Tom and Ariana and Andy, that we're just going to see the 3 of them for a part of the reunion as well. I just, sometimes Andy, like, he wants to, I think with Married to Medicine, we've repaired a marriage on the reunion before. I don't know if you guys are Married to Medicine fans, but on one of the reunions, we literally repaired a marriage they were headed for divorce, and they made the decision at the reunion to stay together, because they literally like had a sit down where it was like, we're going to hash this out. And Andy sort of like helped with that. I actually think the other cast members helped more than Andy did, but I think now I've noticed that, like, I feel like Andy tries to do that. We learned that he tried to invite Lenny to the Real Housewives of Miami reunion so that they could have a sit down, him and Lisa. And so now I think but let's just be clear. And I hope Andy is with us on this. We don't want Ariana and Tom back together. So if you're sitting them down, I hope it's so that you can let Ariana have the stage to just project all of her rage onto Tom while he sits there and ugly cries. So that's it. That's the show today. Like I said, this was such a big moment. And the fact that the reunion is happening on the day that the show comes out, I had to share an entire episode and dedicate an entire episode to the Scandoval of it all. As the reunion kind of comes to an end and after we kind of get what happens, I think that the news cycle is going to slow down on this, but what do I know? I feel like I say that every time I read an article. I'm like, it can't get any wilder, and then it does. So, but it's all going down today, and that's going to be our episode. We're still going to have our Monday episode to break down all the shows from this week. So make sure that you rate and subscribe to The Gist so that you don't miss that. The episodes this week are also wild, guys. So I'm excited to talk to you about all of that. And then we've got another interview coming next week on Thursday. We'll get back into our interview habits for our Thursday episodes. But like I said, we had to move some things around just to bring you the Vanderpump Rules special edition episode. So thank you for listening to my rambling, and let's see what happens at this reunion. All right. Until next week, I hope that you all have a great weekend, and thanks for listening. Bye.